All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the DR podcast. Super excited for the episode today. Shout out to the sponsors, Freestyle Cut and Stitch and 2950. They got all my Padres gear for the season. I'll throw up a link on their Instagrams. Today I got Mark Anthony Contreras. He made his major league debut with the Twins last year. Guy I've known, he trained at the facility last year, so I wanted to have him on, and I mean, I'm sure he's got some great stories. It's been an incredible year for him. He got called up to the big leagues. He hit his first home run. My guy, thanks for joining me. Appreciate your time, bro.
I appreciate you, Reem. Thank you for having me, man. Thank you.
So obviously we're going to get to some of that really cool stuff. The season just ended. You said you started working out again. Me and you might start swinging a little bit, maybe get on the tee.
Yeah.
Everything started for you at UC Riverside, right? That's where you played your college ball.
No, yeah, I played college at UC Riverside.
How did that shape your career, man? I know you played 4 years there, so you got a good amount of time there. How did that shape your career and put you in a good position to kind of, ultimately get drafted in 2017 and then make your big league debut in 2022? Talk about college a little bit.
Yeah, so college, man, wasn't highly touted, coming out of high school. So going to UC Riverside was like a big thing to me because they were the first team for one of the first schools that reached out to me, in the recruiting process. And this was like late my senior year. Didn't know what was going to happen. And for them to show me love first, kind of gave them that edge against other schools. And then the recruiter there, coach was Coach LeBlanc, Bryson LeBlanc. And man, he showed me so much love. He answered all my questions. He just made it feel like very homey, throughout the whole recruiting process. So ended up, committing there, went there for all 4 years. And yeah, so just college scenario, freshman year, didn't want a red shirt, so I wanted to do whatever I could to show that I could play. And that turned into from being an infielder my whole life to, hey, you're hitting pretty decent in the fall, we could use your bat, but infield's pretty packed. Want to try left field? I'm not going to say no, so I was like, heck yeah, I'll play left field. I don't care, and it didn't turn out the way I had in my mind. I was like, oh, start left fielder. It was like, well, you're a freshman, you're going to come off the bench, and if we need you, you're going to go to left field. So, but I mean, from there, I haven't touched the dirt since, so I've been an outfielder ever since. Freshman, sophomore year, I was a left fielder. And then going into my junior, senior year, I started transitioning to center field. So, but yeah, it was a process, and the way it shaped me, it was a lot of older guys, my freshman class, and I got along with them. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the juniors and seniors really took me under their wing, and just showed me kind of the ropes, kind of the work ethic. The practice isn't enough, you gotta be in there after practice. You got to put in more time. And it started, I started building a routine with some of the other guys, going into my junior, senior year, where it was, we'd have practice and then we'd have a night class. And then a lot of us, we had our group messages like, hey, let's go to the cage. It's about 8, 9 o'clock. We'd go to the cage, get our swings in, get a few more swings, hang out, and then bam, back at it the next day, So it just really helped the mindset. And to me, college really helped me grow mentally, because freshman year, damn, I come here to play and I'm really not playing. But having those older guys around me, I had Joe Chavez, Nick Vilter, David Andrees. I just I have a lot of older guys that really, showed me the way to this is how you got to carry yourself. So really helped shape me, and transitioned. I was the one my senior year who I felt I had people there to tell me that. So, it's my role now to, try to help guide freshmen, sophomores, and what it takes, and I ended up getting drafted in my senior year, and, just a blessing. Minnesota Twins in 2017, and yeah, just been going from there.
Yeah, you have. Well, I think that's great for some of the people that are going through that recruiting process to hear, man. I think, I just did a recruiting podcast earlier where we were
Mhm.
talking about this, this day and age and how social media is, you can see everything that's going on in the world, and just because things aren't happening to you doesn't mean anything. And I think
Right.
you're a prime example of like keeping your head down and staying focused. And so that's, you know, and you were all Big West your senior year. I mean, that was a, fantastic season, led to you getting drafted. It sounded like that built your routines. And,
Mhm.
I could see that in the cage last year when we were doing work. Let's talk about that a little bit later.
Mhm.
You've had 1,600 at bats in the minor, right? And you've played at every level so far because you played AAA this year, right?
Mhm.
Well, before we talk about your big league call up, talk about that. I don't think people understand what it's like to play at each level of the minor leagues, and you
Mhm.
had about 4 years to really 5 years to hone your skills. And what are some of the things over the last 5 years that you've really done to put yourself in a position to be a big leaguer?
Yeah. So, I mean, upon getting drafted, excited. There's a lot of excitement around that. And then, you go to rookie ball or you go to the GCL, and, it's just all right around other guys, whether you got drafted in the first round or you got drafted in the 40th round, fifth round, doesn't matter. You're playing with the same guys, So I think very early I understood that, yeah, I wasn't like, or like a lot of us kind of understood that to where we would talk and it's like, well, we didn't all get drafted like high, but we're playing with our first rounder, our second rounders, like it's like we just got to show that we could play, and my draft class in 2017, Royce Lewis was our first rounder. And that's the first person I met when I showed up to the facility in Fort Myers, and I was like, man, this guy is freaking awesome. I can see why he's a first rounder, man. He has all the skills. He's a young phenom, like, and it was just like, and like, no wonder. So it was just like being able to see him at a young age, like have all that ability. I was like, dang, like this man must be been working like day and night, like, so it really inspired me to be like, I gotta stay on it. It's not like I just got drafted and the work stops. Like, no, like the goal is to not be in the minors to get to the majors. So throughout those years, it was just a lot of I mean, you use the word grinding. A lot of minor leaguers call the minor league grind, and it's just a lot of like understanding that at each level, it's it's you got to prepare yourself, and it's just like a lot. It's like you're basically training to get to the big league. So at every level, there's literally something more you have to do, whether it's on the defensive side or the hitting side. And there's always adjustments to make in baseball. It's a game of adjustments. So nothing's ever going to be perfect. But one way that someone put it, I forget who told me, but it was like at every level, as a hitter, it's like you have to understand like every A can stand for something. So what he told me was like every A means in high A or low A, that pitcher has like one dominant pitch is working on the second pitch. Okay. Double A, the dude has the dominant pitch, he has that second pitch kind of, and now he's working on the third pitch. All right, in triple A, they have the 1-2 now, and now they're working on like being more effective with that third pitch. Boom, they're gonna make that jump. So as a hitter, you gotta understand, like, okay, like I just gotta be more selective and like going through the levels and then like just stick to my approach. So I mean, when I got there, when I was drafted, I was like, all right, I just want to hit the ball hard. I want the ball over the fence. I want to scrap for runs. I want to hit for a high average and everything. Um, but then throughout the years, like my thought process changed, and it didn't take till last year, not 22, but 21, when my roommate at the time, Sherman Johnson, he played for the Angels, made it to the big leagues with them.
Mhm.
I was always man, I want to hit 300, and he really helped me understand. It's like, why do you want to hit 300? I was like, well, it's an average, everybody's gonna look. They look up your name. Hey, this man's hitting 300. He's raking. Okay, but you can hit 300 with a lot of cheap hits. I was like, I'm on base, I'm scoring runs. That doesn't necessarily mean you're scoring runs. Are you producing runs? I was like, and he was just quizzing me like it was nonstop with him, and I loved it. Every time we're on the road, we room together, and he's just always testing me. All right, what's your thought? What do you think? And so he really changed my mindset on the offensive standpoint to from average to on base and slugging. He said, you do those two things, you're going to be in the right spot. And he just like, so I was like, what do you mean? Like, he was like, what's your OPS? I was like, OPS, bro, like on base plus slugging. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, he's like, why don't you know that? And I was like, I don't look at that. He's like, but average. I was like, yeah. He's like, no, it got to be opposite, man. Like, you got to know your OPS. He's like, because that means you're walking and you're doing damage. He said, picture it this way. When you hit a single, that's 25 points. When you hit a double, that's 50 points. You hit a triple, it's 75 points. And you hit a home run, it's 100 points. And he's just put into perspective that way. I was like, damn. He said, you want to do damage every day. So a walk, basically 25 points. So you need a walk and some damage every day. I was just like, man. And I mean, he just kept at me all year. And, I had a really good year in 21. And I feel like that's what really helped separate me a little bit and, show that, I have a little bit of what it takes. So keeping that mindset going into this year, yeah, it was throughout the minors, it's a lot of learning from the older guys. It's a lot of trying to pick brains, and you first get to like the next level, you get called up, you want to understand, okay, I'm the new guy here, but you don't want to just be the new guy in the corner. So I just try to make friends with who wants to be your friend at the time until it's like you have to prove yourself every time you get to a level to like those guys at that level. And once you do, they're like, okay, come on in. And then you want to, bring something to the table, whether it's, I'm down to learn from you, or, hey, this is what I see. And a lot of it was, hey, I'm down to learn from you, man. Like, what do you got for me? You've been here. Right. And so it's just been a lot of picking brains throughout this process. And it's really helped me.
That's awesome. That's a really good perspective. I remember you mentioning when we were in the cage last year, mechanical adjustments, not huge mechanical adjustments, but things that kind of increased your power numbers consistently.
Right.
Talk about, I can't remember if it was you transitioned from a small step to a leg kick, but I know now, and from what I've seen last year is that you're keeping that leg kick. You've got it again this year. Is that something that you always had in the minors, or did it kind of evolve?
I think it kind of evolved because in college I was very like one movement, go forward, like small, like no leg kick, would always just like gain ground, but like a small step. And my rookie year, working with the coaches, I had a toe tap, and I really enjoyed like staying back with a toe tap and then leg kicking forward. So then throughout that years, it was like, all right, how can I, gain both of that? So then I started incorporating just the leg kick. And like I said, it's just a lot of adjustments throughout the year. Your body breaks down, or, you feel better some days, some series, and you feel the other day. So you're like, I don't really need to move that much, or I'm seeing the ball good. I don't need to leg kick that much, or I feel strong. I don't really need to gather that much, So it's just a lot of adjustments. And like even this year, I went away from the leg kick a little bit just because, and it was at the start of the second half in AAA after the All-Star break. I was standing very narrow and, just kind of going forward with all my movement, because I felt at the end of the first half that the leg kick was kind of putting me over my back leg and I was getting off balance a lot. So I was like, all right, I need to minimize all that. And, started doing that. Staying more narrow and just going forward. And then towards the end of the year, I'm spread back out again, doing the leg kick. And it's just like a feel thing, honestly. Like, so you go into some series and, you're hitting the ball good and you kind of don't even like think about what you're doing. It's just like feeling it out through that bat. But then it's like some at bats, you're just in a 2-strike approach the whole time because you're just like, I don't know what I'm feeling right now. I need to just put bat on ball or, try to make contact. So I don't know. I mean, I know going into this next year and this off season, some of the stuff I'm going to work on and, we'll be working and you'll see it's going to be a mixture of, everything that I've learned this year and how I feel like my body's moving. And I think a lot of awareness this year was like, what my body's capable of doing. So it's just a
Yeah.
lot of like hip movements and, torso being more tall and just like staying back and not letting that leg kick. If I'm doing it, like take me over that back leg. So, but it's a game of adjustments. And
Right.
I mean, I'm sure I could say that now and probably mid-season I'll be spread out or something just because it's working. But
I think
yeah,
that's a good point, though. I think a lot of the reason why you're able to compete in the game in certain ways is because throughout your college career, you hit a certain way, and then maybe you practice a no stride every once in a while. I do think it is helpful to do different things. Maybe a hitter never practices a leg kick, and the confidence to ever get into your back leg even a little bit bigger maybe doesn't come. So it's good to practice big moves. It's good to practice smaller moves, to kind of to build confidence. Because what you're saying is some days you're competing in the game with what feels the best, right?
exactly.
And it seems like that. You're seeing certain guys like a Harper because he's not in the World Series right now, but like he'll go no stride. And I think, like you said, it's more of a barrel accuracy thing. It's more of okay, that's what feels good right now, and that's what's going to allow me to compete against this guy's nasty slider or whatever, right?
Right.
Well, that leads me to my next question. I mean, you got a chance to play with some phenomenal hitters this year. Talk about being in the cage with how do you pronounce Louis' last name? Is it Arise?
Yeah, Arise. Luis Arise.
Talk about being in the cage with Louis, and I mean, he seems like a mixture between Tony Gwynn and kind of like today's player.
Yeah, no, man. So he's one of the best hitters like I've ever seen. I mean, I've been telling him that since high A because we played high A together in 2018, and man, just his work has not changed. It's only gotten better. From 2018 to what I saw this year, he's in the cage and he is very aware of the movements his body's making, and he is very good at, repeating the same move. And throughout his work, he short bats, then he off the tee, he sets the tee up in different angles and takes the same swing, whether it's low, high, above his head, under the knees, And so the way that I would describe it is it's just very articulate, like his like routine. And it's just it's fun to watch because it seems intense when you're in there, but then he'll just like mix in a few laughs or start talking smack and just be like, I'm gonna do this today. And I'm just like, bro, I know you are because you see the ball, you hit it. He's literally that saying of see ball, hit ball because he is, and man, just being in the cage with him and coming up like through the process with him, it's just he's one of the best guys in the locker room. He's always like moving around. He's always happy. He's always hype. He has a lot of energy. But he always comes up to me if he sees something or whoever, and he sees something that like we like as a hitter have shied away from. He'll let you know like, hey, stay through the other way. That's gonna keep you on everything. Or because there was a time when I was like rolling over line, I said, hit the ball to left field. Like I don't care where the ball is, try to hit the ball left field. And I ended up driving the ball to left field, and I was just like, this man's so right. Like, but like he knows hitting. That's a big league hitter. That's a pro hitter right there. And everything he tells me, I'm open ears. And I'm just trying to learn as much as I can from him because his bat to ball skills are insane. And it's like if I can just take a little bit of that and add it to my game, and be more consistent with that, it'd be fun. It'd be an awesome year, awesome season. But being in the cage with him, man, it's fun because you just see him. You say, I'm gonna hit this ball off the top left corner. Okay, boom, boom, boom. You're just like tic-tac-toe, man's doing it. Like, okay, I'm doing this. I'm gonna hit this ball over here, and then he'll like see it. What's this guy's best pitch? Okay, I'm hitting that freaking that way today. You see him in the game, and he's like, oh well, there's the best. Oh, okay. okay, you know, he knows he knows what he's doing, man. And I think the best part about him is like his little confidence in the box. You know, everybody always talks about the Juan Soto shuffle, the Soto shuffle, but like Arias has been doing that forever. Like he has his own thing. You know, he'll just literally stand in the box and just look at you the whole time and picture the catcher has a glove already and just be like, okay, I saw that the whole way. We're good. You know, and the next pitch, boom, he's barreling something in the gap and he's on base. You're just like, oh, what? Like, I don't get it. Like he'll just literally get in the box and be like, I know I'm not swinging. You don't know I'm not swinging, but I'm not even going to move. And okay, here we go, you know, but it's insane. Like he's so confident, man. And it's fun to watch him hit. It's fun to watch him hit.
Yeah, you can see that from a fan perspective. That bat to ball skill is pretty incredible.
Yeah.
You had a veteran presence at Carlos Correa.
Oh yeah.
Right? Big guy, played a lot of playoff games.
Mm-hmm.
You know, talk about his work in the cage and how that's influenced you. Has there been anything that you've taken away from Carlos this season?
Oh yeah. So Carlos, like, man, he is intelligent. You know, he knows what it takes, you know, to play the game at the highest level. You know, World Series champion. He knows what it takes to play all 162 going into the playoffs. So being able to talk to him or just see him in his work. So I'll start off by seeing him in his work. He's very, you know, like Arias is very aware of his body, but Correa is very aware of how his body's feeling every day. Okay, how am I going to get to this move and be explosive from this move today? You know, and he's before every game, he's breaking it down. He goes up to our hitting coach Pop and he says, "What do you got for me?" You know, and he is not scared of making an adjustment. Boom, on X day to go out there and play. You know, but like not even from the hitting standpoint, he's watching everything where people are playing him. Like I personally have seen him hit the ball through the 3-4 hole with the best of them because everybody's playing him from second base to third, you know, and he's just like, well, they're going to give me that hit right there. And he just, you know, does it. You know, he hits the ball to literally to right field through where a second baseman would be standing, but he knows like, okay, you're going to pitch me to hit it to there. I'm going to do it. You know, I'm going to do it, but my way, and I'm going to get this hit. And so he's very smart. And talking to him, he breaks down hitting to a T, whether it's load, hands, bottom of your feet, stance. What are you doing with your hips? So I had talked to him once, and man, just for him to be like, and this is what he told me, he's like, I'm gonna watch some video and then I'm gonna get back to you. So for him to be like, take time out of his day to watch a video on me and then come back to me with some information, I was just like, yo, that means the world to me, man. Like, of course I'm trying to learn from you. You know, you're one of the best hitters in the game, man. So yeah, he's just I really enjoyed, you know, being up there for the time I was and being able to play with him and pick his brain. And, you know, he's a team guy. He's literally the team guy. And he's a superstar for a reason, man, because he knows what it takes to play this game.
Talk about a knowledgeable guy in the analytics department.
Oh yeah. So he's on you like
technology, right?
Yeah, that is, you know, him. You know, he well, from what Sherman Johnson told me about OPS, he told me a story that I think it was in 2018. They were both playing in high A. Sherman had hit a double, got to second base, and average wise, he hadn't been hitting like great, I guess, if I'm remembering the story right. But he said Correa comes up to him and said, "Hey, Sherman, you're having a good year. You have a high OPS." And Sherman turns around and was like, "What the hell is OPS?" You know? So that got him to learn about that. So, I mean, Correa's been knowing this stuff for a while, you know?
Totally.
He knows the game. He knows analytics. He knows what it takes. So, and then Sherman was able to like drop that on me. And
right.
So now I'm thinking about it. And, but yeah, from the analytics standpoint, I mean, he was on the MLB network the other day, you know, breaking it down, like the new era, compared to the old era of like, you know, what it takes analytically or what we should be looking at analytically, both from offensive and defensive standpoints, you know, whether it's WAR or, you know, OPS or your slugging, you know, stuff like that. So I just remember him just, you know, always when we'd like debrief after games, you know, we'd be talking and, you know, he'd always like be talking about that stuff. And I'm like, man, like, I'm not doing enough of that. Like, I need to do more of that. I need to, you know, look into this or, it's like the analytics are there. It's like you just have to, buy into it and take what parts work for you, I feel like, as a player, and, ride with it. So I feel like it could tell you a lot of stuff of who you are as a player and what you need to work on as a player, or what do you do good as a player and what can you like excel at as a player. So it's all there. It's all there for us as athletes, but we just have to buy into it and actually take the time to understand what it actually means.
Right. Yeah, I think it's not a good time to like learn about it in the middle of a hitting session and then try to make adjustments, right?
Right.
It's a good thing to research in the off season outside of your hitting so you can implement it appropriately, right?
Right. But also, like, in a season where you're not hitting good for 1 series, 2 series, you can go back and look at that information. Like,
Right.
they got heat maps, they have chase rate, they have what you're swinging at, and it's all there. It's like it's like, here's the answers to the test. Do I want to, like, here's the answers to the test. Do you want to look at them? Like, this is how they're throwing you and this is what you're swinging at. So knowing that, like, as a hitter, you have a hitters meeting every day for the starting pitcher and a few of the relievers that might come out the bullpen. Well, we know what he's going to throw us now. Okay, but at the same time, we're having a hitters meeting. They're on the other side doing a pitchers meeting. How are we going to attack these hitters? Where are their hot zones? Where are their cold zones? And if that I'm chasing back foot sliders, okay, what are you going to throw me when I'm in 0-2? Most likely that back foot slider for chase or runners on. What do you? It's all there from every count. What are the percentages? There's just so much data there now, and it's a lot of it's like, not all the time it's perfectly right, because sometimes pitchers learn, like, in the box. Catchers are watching how you're setting up. Catchers know what you're, they're calling the game. But also as hitters, he doesn't look like he has feel for that. So why am I going to swing at that if I see spin? So yeah, that's his best pitch, but he's not really throwing it right now. So it's like in-game adjustments along with analytics. Man, he could be a dangerous player, man.
Totally. Why isn't there, and this is something I just thought of, why isn't there analytics about timing?
Timing as a...
Like, think about it, along with, hey, you chased a slider away. That was okay. We chalked that up. Mm-hmm. But what if the hitter knew if his swing was on time or not?
Right. Okay. That makes sense. I feel like that,
because
that always is brought up, Yeah.
Wouldn't that be, a lot of times you go over that first, like, if you're early, your swing is crap, right? I mean,
right.
A lot of times, or you're out in front or whatever. Not all times if you're early, your swing is crap, but
right.
I think that would be an interesting way to find, maybe like, hey, dude, you were half a second late getting your foot down there, and your backside didn't start on time. Like,
yeah,
the ball was here,
Yeah, and that's that's a lot there, because sometimes it's not how your barrel is positioned or where your leg is or how you're loading. Sometimes it is just that little bit of timing is throwing you off, So that's that raising eyebrows right there, because that's true. Because as dude's throwing fuzz and you're just lifting not even a millisecond, like a second later, or just that much later from when he's lifting, you're not going to hit it. So that
break down those milliseconds.
Yeah. Timing's always brought up too, when you're like, hey man, I don't know if it's this or that, but then it could just be like, right, dude, just start earlier. You start a little bit earlier, everything slots up perfect. Or maybe start later, maybe you're jumping out there too much, start a little bit later. So timing's always a factor of the offensive standpoint for sure, but I'm surprised to see if that is a stat. I have not heard of that being a stat, actually, or an analytic.
A little bit of variation every once in a while, that maybe, especially like you said, a lot of times for a hitter, a simple adjustment of just, like you said, starting earlier and then being able to gauge, like, hey, I get my foot down at this time and space, see where the ball is. Like, that's why you're able to to actually do it. So maybe something to think about. I mean, you guys, I think, as major leaguers, have a very good ability to know exactly if you're on time, how you missed it, all that stuff. I'm just curious. There's so many analytics. I'm curious, and the Twins are really good with in that area. So
Yeah.
let's shift over. You got called up to the big leagues this year, Mark.
Yeah. Yeah. Man.
Let's go back. Okay. So talk about, were you in AAA when this happened?
I was.
Okay. So give me how this all went down. Someone had to call you into their office.
Right.
Something happened. Let me know how this went down.
So according to my coach, it was very odd the way I got called up. And now that I look back at it, very odd. I mean, the whole situation, I'll break it down.
All right, cool.
So every Monday is our travel day off, travel day. I'm all packed, ready. We're going to go to the field, get ready for the bus to go to the airport. We're heading to, I believe, Columbus. We're going on a 2-week road trip. 1 week in Columbus and the next week in Omaha. And so I show up Monday, grabbing my last bag at my locker, and I get a phone call, and it's our manager, Toby Gardenhire, and he was, Mark, where you at? And I was like, I'm in the locker room. He said, oh, come to my office. I'm right here. Okay. So I walked in. He said, close the door. And I was just kind of like, yo. He was like, hey, so there's been some talks. There's a lot of uncertainty that's going on right now in the big leagues, health-wise, position. Someone might go down. We don't know. It was very uncertain of what they had called him for to tell me. But they're just like, your name's roaming around. And I was just like, okay, this is turning better. Cool. And he was just like, but what I can't tell you is that you're going to get called up right now. But what I can tell you is that you have to stay back. I was like, stay back? He was like, yeah, you're not going on the road trip. I was like, wait, what? What'd I do wrong? What do you mean? And that's what's going through my head. I didn't say that, but I was like, wait, what do you mean I'm not going on the road trip? He was just like, I wish I could tell you, Mark, that you're getting called up right now, but I can't. He said, this is very odd. This is this is probably not what you want to hear right now. So you have to wait back. You'll get a call from us tonight, either myself or our player coordinator. And, we'll know if you're flying to Columbus tomorrow or you're going 20 minutes up the street. I was like, oh my God. So now I'm stressed. I'm like, I have to wait for my phone to ring. So I walked back to my apartment. My roommate's obviously on the road trip now. And so I'm alone in the apartment. I can't tell nobody because I'm not going to call my parents and tell them hey, I might get called up because, if anything gets out like that, then I'm definitely not getting called up so it's just, you got to be patient. And I was like, all right, I got to play video games, get my mind off it. I got to watch something. And I was playing video games, and then it was the whole day, nothing. I didn't get no information. And about 9, 10 o'clock at night, my phone starts ringing. And I was like, all right, here I go. I'm either getting called up or I'm flying to Columbus. And player coordinator calls me, and he was just like, hey, we don't have any information still. I just wanted to call you so that you can get, don't stay up all night. So I was just like, all right, I really appreciate that. Thank you. And then I hang up, and then I was just like, wait, how am I not supposed to stay up all night now, bro? Now I don't even know what's going on. I was like, oh, snap. So I was like, how am I supposed to sleep? Try to go to sleep, man. I woke up at 7 a.m. I was just like, I couldn't sleep. So I'm just like, oh man. So maybe I'll get a call by in the next hour or so. Nothing. 8 o'clock, nothing. 9 o'clock, nothing. 10 o'clock, I'm still laying down, bro. I'm just like, oh my God. I can't even eat because I'm so anxious. It's about 12:30, almost 1 o'clock. My phone starts ringing. I'm watching Emperor's New Groove on Disney Channel. I remember this. And manager's calling me. So I figured dang, if my manager's calling me, I'm probably going back to AAA. I'm probably flying to Columbus. Calling me, say, hey, what's up? I was like, hey, Toby. He said, what are you doing? I was like, Toby, I'm waiting for you to tell me what's going on, man. Like, I don't know what's going on. I'm just waiting for you, man. He was like, uh, are you laying down? I was like, yeah, I can't. If I stood up, I keep pacing the dang apartment. He said, well, get your ass up. You're going to fucking big leagues. I was like, holy crap, what? He's like, let's go. He started like yelling through the phone, and I started yelling back at him. Oh, this hype, man. Like, what the heck? All this. He said, yeah. You'll get a call within the next, or a text in the next like 5-10 minutes of like all the information. It's like, holy crap. Like, so now I'm just like, okay, I have all my stuff here. I got this. Okay, I'm just, all right, how am I going to get to the field? Like, I don't have a car. I was like, I got an Uber. I got to call an Uber. And then I got a text and was like, you don't have to be there for like another hour. I was like, okay, whew, let me breathe real quick because it's already 1 o'clock. And I was like, I know the game's at 6, I believe 6:30 that night. I was like, I feel like I have to be at the field already. But took my time. I made a few phone calls, and just
Rest is history.
yeah, man, showed up, and
That's awesome. Such
it
a
was
good story.
it was crazy, man. I was just like, yeah.
That's what would you have rather had? Someone pulled you in their office and pulled a full-on prank, or because it could go either way.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I feel like the way I got called up is very unique, man. Like,
Right.
it was like a 2-day thing.
Story. I love the chronological. Each hour was, exactly what you were doing.
Bro, I remember everything. Oh my God. And that was the first time I ever been to Target Field. The first time I showed up to Target Field was the first time I've ever seen the parking lot, the stadium itself. Like, so just like that moment was like, oh, we're here, man. Like, and I had the best Uber driver ever, man. He was so hyped for me. It was like perfect. Like the way I was pulling up there, I was like, dang, this is awesome. Yeah, man. It was just a blessing, man. I felt very blessed, and like I couldn't thank no one else but God and my family, man, for all like just that moment meant so much to me, and I couldn't wait to like call them and share with them. And
definitely saw your gratitude during the season. We could see it, man. We could see it. So May 11th, you made your major league debut. You replaced Byron Buxton in the outfield after a rain delay.
Mm-hmm.
I want to hear about now running out to your position.
So running out to my position, I had envisioned that moment. I had envisioned that moment for a while. Like, so like the first day I didn't play. So like going into the second day, I believe the second day was a delay. So I think it was the third day I went out there. So I show up to the locker room, and I didn't know if I was playing yet, but I know we had like the doubleheader. Was it doubleheader? Yeah, makeup game, then finish the game, right? Yeah. And Chase Team comes up to me and was like, hey, you're playing left field. I was just like, oh, okay. I go to my locker. What jersey we wearing today, man? Like, because I had envisioned this moment forever. Like, I'm taking the steps. So fast forward to like me going out to the field, like in the makeup game or to finish the game. It was like no anthem or nothing. Like I didn't envision myself running out, like now playing left field, Mark Contreras and all that stuff. But like running out there, it was like, okay, I'm about to, the first thing I thought of was, man, ball's going to find you. So just be ready. The ball will find you. And I kid you not, man, the first fly ball I got was the most stressful fly ball ever, just because like off the bat, I took a few steps back, like, oh, money. Like I'm, like before you get any action, you're kind of like, I was like, dang, like, all right, I wish they hit the first one to me just because like, I catch it, field it, whatever, throw it in, even if it's on the ground, field it, throw it in. Now I'm good. All right. But no, it was like first fly ball I got, took a step back, 2 steps back, and then I noticed like it's just not traveling anymore. So like from field level, the wind was blowing out, but from like the top, the third deck, the flags were blowing in. So off the bat, this ball's coming, and it gets like to that third deck and it starts dying and carrying back towards like the infield. So I'm going back, and I'm just like, oh shit. Like boom, I start sprinting forward and I had Royce running at me, like looking up because he's seen that it was like fading back. And I was like, dang. And in my head, I'm just like, you just have to catch this. You have to. This is not about, you're not about to drop this, man. And I literally like almost toes this catch and like catch it, look up, and I'm just like, it was like so much like relief that I, ball ended up in the glove. Like, okay, we got the out. It was ugly. It looked like a circus, but I mean, what made me feel better is I come in, outfield coach, also our third base coach, Tommy Watkins was like, bro, we thought that ball was hit to the wall. I was like, okay, cool, because at least I'm not the only one who thought that, because dang, like the wind was swirling. So
you have fly ball before, so you already knew what it looked like, right?
Yeah, I was like, yo, like, what is this? I've caught fly balls before. This is not it.
Right.
But yeah, I ended up catching that, and I was just like, oh my goodness, like, all right, cool, we're good. And so I got that, and then I had my first at bat that game too, and man, it was
the key moments, like transition to that catch that you made on Moncada this year, that freaking screaming line drive. You're playing right?
Yeah.
Moncada hit a freaking laser beam. Launch angle probably 10 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
You sprint, catch it at your shoelaces.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that should have been the first ball you caught in the big league thing. You'd be a Gold Glover.
Oh man, nah, definitely after that first one, the nerves are gone. It's the same game. You
Right.
just, all right, this is the same game. I just had to get that first one out the way, and it ended up the way it did. But yeah, going.
Was that a pretty big highlight in your career, like as far as making that diving catch on Moncada? Was that something that you're like, dude, that's pretty special?
Yeah, it was like I really like going on throughout in the bigs, like the bat wasn't really, going how I wanted to go. So for me, it was like, man, well, if the bat's not going, like I got to do it with something else. And, and I always pride myself on that. I got to separate hitting and defense. There's two different, they're separate. Whatever happens on defense, can't take it into hitting. Whatever happens on hitting, I can't take it into defense. So playing defense the way I did, and the way I know I'm capable of, man, and making that catch, it was just like, man, like I know I can make these plays. I know I can make these plays, and it what actually made that like special, going back to Correa, is like I'm running in, and he comes up to me later in that inning and says 7%. Wow, I was just like 7%. He said, yeah, that ball had a 7% catch probability. And I was like, and like, instead of saying like, damn, I just caught 7%, I was like, how the heck did this man already see the analytics on this, bro? My man is on it. I kid you not, he is on it. And I was just like, yo, like, but then thinking back, I was like, 7%. Yeah, I was like,
watching. I mean, that's how special this catch was.
Yeah, and he was like 7%. That's a lot of WAR. Now he's talking about WAR, and I'm like, bro, give me the dictionary on all these things. I need it, man, because I need to get on that level, man. If I want to play at that level, I need to get on that level. But that's awesome. It's it was fun, man. I love playing. I love getting grassy, and I mean, ever since I made that transition from infield to outfield my freshman year, man, I haven't went back, and I love it. I love playing the outfield. I love that I'm blessed to be able to play left, center, and right. They put me in all those positions, so it's just cool that I was able to, show that, I can play defense up there and at a high level. So yeah, for me, from this year, I learned a lot, especially on the offensive standpoint, what I need to work on. But yeah, offensively,
do you feel
we're gonna get it?
It's more approach and pitch selection, or is there things mechanically you need to solidify?
It's also, I think it's patience. It's a lot of like patience, so what I like, the way I would describe it is, I wasn't playing every day, so I wasn't seeing that pitching every day. but at some point I have to make the decision to prepare myself like I am seeing this pitching every day, and because these pitchers, in the big leagues, they're there for a reason. They're not working on pitch 2, pitch 3. They have 1 through 3, maybe 4 already pitches, like we face Otani, he has 12 pitches, man, like, and they're all nasty, but they know where they're throwing it. They know what's effective. They know what you aren't good at. The catcher knows what you aren't good at. So they're going to attack your weakness till you show them, hey, I'm not swinging at that no more, or I'm not biting at that no more. Okay, now we got to throw something else. Okay, you throwing something else? Now I'm on you, So it's just a lot of patience, man. I struck out a lot. And it was a lot of not swinging at pitches in my zone because I just I wanted to do something. I wanted to put the ball in play, and towards the end of it, it was like my timing. I was just a little bit late, and our third base coach was like, "Bro, start earlier." So it goes back to what we're talking about, that timing. And I was started smashing balls and hitting balls hard. Were they dropping? No, but to me, like, I care about if I hit it hard. Hey, I can't control what the 8 defenders behind in front of me do with it. And it's all they're all defenders for a reason. They don't take plays off up there. So it's to me it was like, you hit the ball hard, that's fine. At least in my mindset, like, I don't ever get down on myself if I hit the ball hard. And they have all the analytics for that. We'll have exit velo, launch angle, all this stuff. You hit a ball 109 and it gets caught. What am I gonna do, man? I can't do nothing about that. But I did my job. I swung at a good pitch, and I hit it where I needed to hit it. It just got caught or made a great play. So yeah, offensively, it's I have a few things I want to work on. With like the way my hips move, and
This, right? Yeah. I mean,
yeah, it's just being just very disciplined to your zone. Like,
yeah.
you watch Arias hit. He's has like, not only is he like very great bat to ball, but he knows his zone and he knows the zone. Like, he rarely chases outside of that. The box, you like, as a fan, you see on TV. He barely chases out of that. And and he knows when those are close pitches. So if he has to foul them off, and being able to like incorporate that into my game, I got to be better in my like zone, and just be more understanding of what I'm going to get pitched, and I like a lot of the guys, the way they prepare, it's, okay, this is what I do good. Probably not going to throw me here, but if I can force him to throw me here by, laying off of their pitch, then we're going to have a good day, and sometimes you have to I feel like you have to hit the pitcher's pitch because, you have to show them that, I could still get to that at some point if I need to. And it just, it's a game of like making the other person feel uncomfortable. You got to make the pitcher feel uncomfortable when you step in the box. They got to make you feel uncomfortable when you step in the box. So it's it's a battle up there, man. And it's fun. It is fun.
It's been a pleasure to get to know you, man. I mean, for those of you guys that aren't Twins fans, I mean, Mark is one of the most athletic players that I've got a chance to be around. His, gym work ethic is top notch. I mean, the things you do in the gym, I mean, your vertical, all that stuff is incredible. You're not the tallest guy. You're, maybe 5'10", and I think.
Come on now, 6 foot in cleats, man.
6 foot in cleats. Me and you, bro. Maybe my shoes. You weren't that much taller than me in the cage. All right. That's what the problem is. And you're 6 feet, and I'm like 5'7" now.
Love that.
I think it's very impressive to watch you hit. The ball jumps off your bat like 100 miles an hour when you're going and things are flying. I mean, it's impressive to watch. And I tell everyone this one story about you, because we first met last year, and I didn't know who you were, to be honest. And I started to get to know you, and we spent 3 months in the cage, and then fast forward, AAA major league debut, and looking back on it, and watching you in the cage, and watching how you go about your business and the way you talk to players and you help guys out. I mean, it was completely different looking back on it than I've really ever seen in the past, as far as have a guy that's hasn't been in the big leagues. And so that's one thing I tell guys, like, this guy came in and every day he was strategic about what he did. His tee work was methodical. Everything was so under control, and he had a plan. He knew exactly what he was trying to do. He looked at it at video, and then boom. And I just think that's a cool story for everyone to, because you're not going to brag about yourself, but I'm going to brag and say how fortunate it was for me to get to watch you last year and be a part of your process, man. And I'm excited to get going in the cages again.
Heck yeah.
Get ready for 2023, baby.
Yeah, that's the plan. Sir.
Dude, thanks again for following and watching the podcast. Where can we find you on Instagram? What's your Instagram, Mark?
My Instagram is at Mark Anthony _5.
And he's got all the professional big league pics and him looking like an absolute monster. He's got the mustache going.
Yeah, the stash every season, man.
The mustache. All right, like you said, thanks again for joining me, Mark. That was super cool, bro. I look forward to seeing you in the cages, brother.
Heck yeah, appreciate you, Ring. Thank you so much, man.
All right, doggy. Thanks.
You have a good one. Yes, sir.